Welcome to Tune Tracks Racing.
Hey everyone, and today we are going pet hunting at Toys R Us, and yes, it is still around over here.
I'm not dead!
Yeah, he says he's not dead.
Yes, he is. I'm not!
So as we enter in, you can see here they have a pretty cool display of a giant T-Rex. Usually it's working, it's moving around, it's opening its mouth, roaring, but here you can see just like the eyelids are going and just the mouth is moving slightly. Needless to say, Jason was disappointed. So this brings us to the Jurassic Park Matchbox section, and the one casting I was looking for was the original Jeep that you see in the original Jurassic Park movie, but just like all the other times I haven't seen it, it's pretty much bought out every time I get here to look. Here you can see a twin loop set that's from Fastlane, which is kind of like a cheap Chinese knockoff version of Hot Wheels, but when I was looking at it, I could see it was for slot cars. And at this point, they're playing really cheesy children's songs, so I had to mute this whole section and re-narrate.
Your music's bad and you should feel bad.
They played this wacky version of Wheels on a Bus over and over throughout the whole time we were in the store, so this is why you don't hear any other stuff in the background. It's just going to be me narrating from here on. So as you can see here, I'm looking at a couple of casters, and since this is Thailand, anything that has real riders is going to be super expensive. And if you actually look, you can see it says 395 baht, and that comes out to around $12 in US money. So yeah, a little too rich for my blood. So here I spot the Fast and Furious set, and I'm hoping I can find a Lancer Evolution, but of course that's not going to happen because I have not seen one out in the wild here yet. If you saw my previous haul video, you did see I already got the Impala and the Monte Carlo, which are really cool castings, so no disappointment there. Here I'm just scoping around, seeing if I can find anything that catches my eye. These castings have mostly been here the last couple times I've been here, so I wasn't really looking at every single one. Some of these I'll just look, just to show you guys, but most of these are pretty old. They've been here for quite a few months already, and at those prices I wonder why. Here you can see the Zamax set, which I actually completed thanks to my brother who sent it over for Jason. I really like that set, that's pretty neat. Jason does have a few from that set, including the Monte Carlo and the DeLorean. Those two are pretty good castings. There are quite a few we still want to get, but like I said, with some of the prices a little jacked up, we have to be patient, and when we do buy them, we just get them one here, one there. We did have the black and gold of this Hot Wheels set, but as you can see, this is the newer one. And we don't have any of those yet, but as previously said, these are 195 baht, and these come out to about $6 a car. So these aren't exactly on our priority list, so we're just going to skip over them for now. And here I'm just looking at a couple of silhouettes. Those are awesome castings. I really like that set, but once again, you can see it's 395 baht. That's $12 a pop. I'm hoping we could find it maybe online here for a little bit cheaper. And again, they're real riders, so if we do have a future tournament for real riders again, they'll be sure to be in it. And just looking at a couple Star Wars cars. Jason has a few. We might eventually get a few more for possibly a future episode. I can have some fun doing that with some video editing. I really hate when people leave a mess, so I always gotta pick them up and put them away. Probably the OCD in me. And again, this is another awesome gasser, but the price is just too much. I'm sure you guys will agree that $12 is a bit too much for one car. So here I'm looking at the main lines, but I can already tell right away that these have been picked through. I think I can safely say about 95% of these are all fantasy cars. I know some people like fantasy cars, and some of them run pretty good on the track though, but I just mostly look for the real cars and see what I can find. There are still a couple that we need to get for Jason. So just looking through. You can see there's Paducah. We already got Jason his own, so he plays with him most of the time. And again, like you can see, once in a while they'll have a real car that we already have or we're just not really that interested in yet. These cars here you can see are around like 84 to 100 baht, and that's roughly around, you know, $2 to $3 a car. So I pretty much already know I'm not going to get anything in this section, but just giving it one quick glance over before I move on to the Tomica. This is actually the real reason why I came to Toys R Us, is look at the Tomica. You can see this awesome Nissan right in front of you, and this is one of the ones I actually picked up, and this will be in the Nissan qualifiers this weekend. And once again, you can see the display is not very friendly for my hands. The top one is fine, but once you get down below, it gets really tight. As you can see, my hand is like barely fitting in, and by the time I got home, the whole time my hand was all like skinned. And this is actually where I got the Subaru. I think I made a mistake last haul episode. I said I got the Subaru in Zen, that store, which I didn't. I actually picked up a Lotus in that one, and I'll show that off in our next haul video. But this right here is where I picked up the Subaru, and this casting is really cool. But as I've always say, I'm just not a really huge fan of the wheels for Tomica. But there are some that will have decent wheels, and I'm always sure to get those. So right in front of you, you can see the orange Lamborghini Performante, I think it's called. I already have that one. That will be running in the Lamborghini qualifiers, and they will be coming up next after Nissan. I'm hoping to get all the Nissan filming done tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe we'll have just 2 days for Nissan, since we don't have as many Nissans as we did Ford, which took 3 days. What my plan is probably to have just like 10 cards per episode to keep it short and easy to watch for everybody. I try not to get too long of videos, because like the longer the video, the more people don't watch the whole thing. So I just try to keep them short. Not to mention all the video editing takes a lot of work, so like the longer the video, the more it's gonna take to complete the video. So here I'm just looking for possible cars that could be in upcoming qualifiers. There's quite a few good ones, but the Tomicas here are around $6 a pop, so it's gotta be really good for me to get it. Or I'm just like trying to fill out some teams either for this qualifier round or looking for maybe next seasons that can possibly fill out some teams. And once again, when season 2 does kick off, I'll let you guys vote in what other car brand you want to see in. So that completes the Tomica, and I just move over to the Matchbox section, which really isn't anything too thrilling. For some reason, their Matchbox is not that plentiful over here. So I have probably just a couple pegs on it, and that's about it. And most of them are all these weird vehicles that don't really fit my interest. I mean, I will look for some cars that could fit on a track for the diorama purpose. I might have some that might actually race. Like I did find a couple BMWs not too long ago. So like I said, if BMW gets into one of the seasons, they'll be competing to make the team. So here I'm just looking at possible castings that can go on a diorama. I was hoping I could find like a news van, because I thought that would be a really good addition, but no joy. I did find a cool bus. I was thinking about getting that, but Jason already has a couple buses in his collection, so no rush really to get those. And as you can see here, the selection's pretty meager. There's nothing really to show. I'm just looking through and hoping I can find at least something to catch my interest. I did find this Camaro, but Jason already has about like 20 of them, and you'll see that when we get to Chevrolet. There's just so many. And as you can see here, we got the Hot Wheels transport trucks, and these are cheaper than they were in Zen by a couple bucks. In Zen, they were around $27. Here, they're almost $6 cheaper. They're $21, but that's still a lot of money. And once again, they have a monster truck here, but it's only that one, and that particular model didn't really, you know, catch my fancy, so I wasn't going to grab that one. And here, I'm just looking at some of the sets, and if you look down at the bottom, you can see one called the Calendar Advent. And we got that for Jason for Christmas, and we'll actually do an episode of him opening that up in December. And here you can see a Bugatti Veyron, which is from Siku. But unfortunately, all these are 1/55th in scale, so they're going to be too big for the Hot Wheels track. But they still look pretty good, and again, I will eventually get one of these for Jason. And you can see a couple other Veyrons here. And they did not have any for sale solo packs. They were just here on display. But eventually, when I do find one, I'll get one and I'll put it on display for you guys to look at. Siku makes really good castings, but like I said, they're just a little too big for our needs right now. And here we're moving on to the Majorette section, and it's almost like the same batch of cars that we saw in last haul in Zen. And that's the way it usually is here in Thailand. They don't really have too many variances in their Majorettes. Like what you see in one store is most likely what you're going to see in the next store you go to. But surprisingly, you're going to see the car right here, which I picked up, and that is an awesome Dodge Challenger. And I haven't seen this one before, so here I go. I had to go buy this one. It just looked too beautiful to pass up. So here I am looking at it, and I was actually surprised because, like I said, usually what you see in one store, you see in the other, and this one actually had probably like 1 or 2 castings I didn't see in Zen. So haven't seen that. I was looking through to see what else I could find. Maybe there was something else that would catch me off guard, but I was almost going to get this truck, but I figured, you know, we got enough cars the other day, so I didn't want to keep racking up the bills. Maybe I'll get it next time I go. We are thinking about going again this weekend. Maybe, or, you know, possibly we'll have another peg hunting video. It depends on our timing. I know we still got to get a lot of the Nissans done for the qualifiers, and we got a couple haul videos we have planned. Here you can see a pretty decent transport truck, but we already got one from Fastlane, which surprisingly was pretty cool, so we didn't get that one. And here you can see a really cool Alpha Mods all chrome set that looked pretty decent. And here's just a couple of it's like 5 packs from Majorette. The trouble is with their Lamborghinis, even though they look the same, some of them will fit on a track and some won't. And it's really hard to see which ones will and which ones won't. And that'll end our quick little Toys R Us peg hunting video. And as I said before, we'll go back again this weekend. We'll go to a different Toys R Us, and hopefully we can find something cool that you guys might like. But until then, we will see you guys this weekend for the Nissan qualifiers. Thanks for watching, everyone.